Hey guys, so I want to have a little story time today and tell you a story about Neville Goddard, his wife, and her situation she was dealing with at work. And this is going to be something that's going to be an eye opener for a lot of you, that's going to make you understand why I love Neville Goddard and his teachings and totally believe in this whole manifestation journey, besides the things I have manifested in my life. So if you have followed me and you watched videos, you know that I manifested like everything I want in my life. And that stuff I wholeheartedly wanted, and I gave it all my heart, my love, my trust. There was no wavering. There was nothing about what I manifested that gave me any doubts. When I wanted a business, I saw it, I believed it, I achieved it. I wanted children, I visualized how I wanted my children, I saw it, I achieved it, and everything. Like, those were things I built in my life without any resistance. So I got those without a problem. The other things that I do want haven't fully conformed yet, only because it's been on a pedestal and I'm human, and I just, put certain things on a pedestal, and that's adding the resistance. So anyway, not even talking about that. But this video is going to be about Neville Goddard and her boss, which is a specific person. Because I speak about specific person and I tag it a lot everywhere, because specific person is not necessarily has to do with just your love, the person you want to be with, the next person that you want to bring back, or your lover, or a person that you want to manifest for the future, like the love of your life and things like that. That's the main thing for specific person, because that's what everybody wants. But you also can use this technique towards anybody in your life, a specific person, a friend, a parent, a relative, a boss, a co-worker. So listen to this story. Neville Goddard's wife hated, if I tell you, hated going to work. They lived in Manhattan, and her boss was this really tough guy from Russia. He wasn't warm, he was very cold, and was always treating her like basically garbage, and she hated going to work. So she would come home and she would just complain to Neville all the time and be like, I can't stand him. I hate the way he treats me. I don't want to go to work, and I'm done. I don't like my situation at work. I can't deal with him. He speaks to me. I literally just want to basically slap him, okay? Like punch him in the face. That's how she resented her boss and like hated him. So Neville's like, but why? Just change the situation with your boss. Don't have to sit there and hate on him, because you're showing that you hate him, and the way he's been treating you, you just keep feeding that back, because everybody is you pushed out. He's your mirror. So you don't like him and you have resentment towards him. So whenever you talk to him, you have this anger, and he's just going to keep reflecting that. She's like, I understand it, but I just can't help it. The guy doesn't show me any appreciation. No matter what I do, can never say a thank you, can never do this, can never do that. So Neville's like, honestly, when you see him, how do you react towards him when he speaks to you? What are you envisioning in your mind? What are you doing? She's like, Neville, what do you think? When he speaks to me like I'm beneath him, I basically curse him out in my head. He worded it a little nicer. I'm a typical New Yorker, so I'm going to get like a little ghetto here. Okay. So she's like, what do you want me to do? If he tells me to do something and he's talking to me like I'm beneath him, I'm cursing out that motherfucker in my head. That's basically her response to Neville. She's like, he's going to talk to me like I'm garbage. I'm fighting with him in my head. I'm going to talk to him like he's garbage, because you're going to treat me like garbage? Nah, honey. You're the fucking garbage. Straight up, that's how the wife would basically answer him, but a lot classier than how I'm doing it. So anyway, so Neville's like, then how do you expect me to treat you otherwise? That's how you're perceiving him to be. That's what you're making him be. Maybe if you change your attitude towards him, and then when he responds to you and he talks to you, you don't respond back in your head angry and like you hate the dude, okay? Do this in a way that you're showing that he appreciates you. Have an inner conversation. So whenever you do have an interaction with him, you can, okay, revise the situation, because revision is a big thing that Neville Goddard focused on, okay? Whenever you deal with a situation in your life and you don't like it and how you handled it, you basically just revise it and visualize how it's going to happen, okay? You're going to visualize how it's going to happen the way you want it to be. So he told her, so instead of like, if your boss comes in, he's not that friendly, ignore it. Just greet him, smile. Don't show that you're angry, but then look within yourself, close, get centered, meditate, and just focus and have an inner conversation. So you see yourself with your boss and you see him saying, good morning. Thank you for coming in. I totally appreciate you. I love everything that you have done for me. Like, if it wasn't for you, this business wouldn't be great. I think she was like some sort of tailor or something. If I remember correctly, she worked for a dress factory. That's the only thing I'm not really correct about the story right now, because it's so many that I've heard. But the whole situation is exactly what happened. But so he told her straight up, see him appreciating you and valuing you. And knowing that you are the greatest employee that he has ever had, that he has to kiss your feet because if it wasn't for you, his business would not be standing. So Neville's wife's like, all right, what do you want me to do? Like, okay, fine. If that's what you think you want me to do, I'm going to try it because your teachings work. Your students all see wonderful things. And your whole Barbados story, because you have to watch my Barbados video, okay? It's like one of the first ones I posted. Just scroll all the way down, okay? His Barbados story is freaking amazing, okay? So it's like if this all happened to you with the Barbados story and all your other students are going through stuff and whatever you're telling them to visualize they're achieving, I'm going to do the same thing. So let me see. Let me see how my boss is going to treat me. I'm going to do what you said. I'm going to have my inner conversations. I'm going to always visualize and see him in light of a beautiful, respecting person. Okay, a respectful person. What does she do? Every time he approached her and he was nasty, cold, and arrogant, being who he was, acting though like she was a scum beneath his feet, okay? She would literally sit there. Instead of fighting with her, she changed the old story. You have to change the old story. She flipped it. She fucking flipped this shit to like he would literally praise her and is like so glad that he has her. That one morning, they walked in together at the same time going to work. And he was like to her, good morning. He's like, oh, привет, good morning. How you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And she was like, yeah, good morning. How are you? He's like, oh, I'm doing great. I hope you're doing well. You know, I do appreciate you. Thank you for everything, this, and that. And she was like floored. She was floored. So he went from being someone arrogant that actually speaking to her like she was a freaking human being. Okay, speaking to her like she was a freaking human being. So she just kept going with this because she liked that feeling. So she kept visualizing more and more that her relationship at work with him improved tenfold, that everything started being good, that she didn't want to quit her job anymore. She actually enjoyed going to work because he started respecting her and showed appreciation towards her. What? All that because the power of her mind, what she put out there. Because everybody is a reflection of you. Everybody is your mirror self. Take a look at your life. Take a look how people are treating you. Because most people, if you meet them originally, are jerk-offs. Because that's how you're going to perceive them. Because they're a jerk-off. They're a jerk-off. Straight up. That's what they are, right? But then if you persist enough and you envision that person treating you differently and then you react to them differently, they're eventually going to mirror you. They're so eventually going to mirror you. This can work, okay? It does work. It just depends on your belief system and how much effort you put into it. And if your prominent thoughts and beliefs, 90% to like 95% are in the favor of how you want that person to be without wavering, it's going to happen. This is why I believe that everything in your life you can have and you can achieve. It's just the more I read about Neville and his studies and even other people, the success stories. I've heard so many success stories. And why are all these other people achieving them and you can't? You can achieve whatever you want. It's your mindset, okay? People are living in situations and everything around them, good or bad, people manifested it into their life themselves. If people are going to grow old and be alone, it's because they have the mindset that they can never find love, they can never be happy, and they're not deserving of it. That is why they're in that situation. Then there's people that know that they're so amazing and they're so loved that they get what they want. They own it. Yeah, you get that? I just needed to share this story because I think it's another amazing story. It's just as great as his Barbados one. So I figured I'll just make a video and talk about it. But she was able to flip that switch. Instead of quitting the job and telling him where to go, like what she wanted to do, she listened to her husband. And it worked. It worked. It was her whole belief system. Her and Neville had a whole dynamic that they envisioned things together. They talked about things. Everything was in a negative, positive light. Nothing was in light that they didn't appreciate anything. Every morning they woke up with gratitude. They said what they had to do. They freaking sit there and they pictured how they wanted the day to unfold. And if the day didn't unfold the way they wanted it to, it was not a big deal. They just revised the whole damn day. And they persisted and persisted and persisted. They persisted to the fact that their assumptions hardened into fact. Okay? Assumptions hardened into facts. That's what the law of assumption is. You believe something so much that what you assumed is not becoming. You don't assume and make an ass out of you and me because that's what people say. No, you assume to the fact that what you want hardens into fact, and it does happen. All right, I just needed to share this. Have a great day. Arrivederci.